live.
Okay,
now it's actually live.
We
were sitting here thinking it was live, but I'm a noob to this. I told you guys I'm a noob to this, so now it's actually live. So I had scheduled it, and I watched the countdown, and I thought it automatically did it, but there's still a button. So I don't know why the hell you would schedule it if I still have to hit go live.
Right.
So I don't know. Whatever. Okay. So yeah,
you're live, fella.
Yeah, people are definitely they're going to check in. It's going to start scrolling. There it goes. There'll be a lag too, Craig, because it's StreamYard. So like in Wilson, you'll probably see this if you're watching it on your phone or whatever too. Like there'll be definitely a delay from what you got, like we see versus what the audience sees.
Gotcha.
So it's it's super cool that it even works in the first place. I think I'm old enough to really appreciate that this stuff even works.
Yeah, for some reason it's not coming up on the side, but oh well.
Okay. All right. So anyway,
I'm blind.
It's we're live, and obviously I'm Random Rob, and to my I can't point, guys. Over there is Craig. You guys have heard me talk about Craig.
Hey guys.
Craig and Heidi, they every time I go to Southeast Michigan, they put me up like it's a free Airbnb or something. And then Detroit Spartan down in the bottom right corner of my screen, I don't know how it's played out in your guys' screen, is a fairly new buddy, I think, in the massive relationships that I have going on. But it's a great relationship, and great. I'm super happy we were finally able to meet up, and we met up at the Random Rob over there, the watch meetup thing. He met us there, and we just kind of grew from there. And then of course Wilson, super involved in the watch community, but doesn't want to reveal himself completely. And both his name and his voice are altered to protect his identity. He is actually in the witness relocation program, so we're just that's what you see is what you get.
I look just like the avatar, believe me. People who know that I look just like the avatar.
And every time we go down there, or I go down there and visit with everything, like that's actually what Wilson wears too. He walks around in a full NFL uniform, so it is a little weird. But people ask for his autograph all the time. So
yeah, I'm running out of ink.
So, Jeffrey says he's got some buffering over there. Hopefully, it's not too bad for you guys. We'll see. Sometimes it's an individual thing. You just need to jump out and jump back in. It could be from my side. It's hard to say. Okay, so we do actually kind of have some topics that we're going to talk about. And we're gonna do an unveil. I put it in the title, I think. Monday live chat with guest and a new watch reveal. We'll get to that. Well, no, we'll just do it now. Well, we're gonna start. I'm gonna finish. Craig, we need a wristwatch check from you. Craig, go ahead.
Wristwatch check. It's the newest watch in my collection. One of my absolute favorites. This is the Tokyo Seamaster 2020. Love this thing.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Okay, that's all you got to say about that. That watch, in case anybody, if you're like been hiding under a rock or something like that, in case you haven't actually seen some good pictures of that instead of the stock photos that Omega provided, that watch is stunning. Well, and I did a video of it.
You did.
So if you're watching this, you better have watched that.
You captured it perfectly.
Yeah, that's the real deal person.
The hands on this, the blued hands are so dynamic. Yeah. Sometimes they look blue, sometimes they look black, depending on the light.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Sure. All right, we're going to throw it over to Detroit Spartan. What are you wearing on your wrist tonight?
Thanks to Wilson, I got the new 18K gold Tudor Black Bay 58 on the NATO. Not sure how to show you guys all the best.
It's actually showing up pretty good because that I know for a fact that watch is actually very difficult to like capture and get good picture or video. So it's actually showing up pretty good. A nice green.
Yeah, you guys were there when I bought it. It's in person, it's a stunner. I love green watches, and it as soon as I saw it, it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah,
that NATO is pretty sweet.
I agree. I love it. Donna loves it on the alligator, but I like it on the NATO.
Yeah, the alligator strap that it comes with is amazing too. But we've been talking a lot ever since you purchased it or whatever. Like you put that NATO on pretty soon after you picked it up, and it doesn't look like it's coming off anytime soon.
No, I love it.
Yeah, that thing is a stunner in person. Really, the renders, the pictures don't do it justice. It's a sweet watch, man. Congratulations.
Thanks, brother. Thanks to you.
Yeah. And we're going to talk a little heavier about that too. Like Detroit Spartans giving Wilson some props for hooking him up with that. And when I do my watch review, I'm going to give some mad props to Detroit Spartans. So let's throw it over to Wilson. Wilson, what are you wearing? You're just going to have to describe it.
Yeah, lucky me, I get to follow that. I've got the blue Pelagos on.
Nice.
It's
Awesome.
pretty much my daily for work. I mean, everybody knows about it. It's
You know,
nice
you
watch,
say that,
really
but
comfortable. So
for some reason, I didn't know you actually had that, because every time I've met up with you, you have not been wearing it.
you're not paying attention to the chats then, because every time they're like wristwatch check, I'm like blue Pelagos or Pelagos. However, forgive me.
Okay.
But yeah,
Right.
That's what I got on.
And it's the newer one, right? The better one.
Yeah, the one with the newspaper fully printed on the dial.
Which is better. You need that text.
Yeah, when I get bored.
Absolutely.
That's how I check my eyesight, make sure that I could see it from a distance. I don't have to go to the eye doctor.
That's a good one.
That's actually how Wilson and I kind of got to start talking. Was I had my black Pelagos, and he saw me posting that, and he said, "Oh, I've got the blue one," and then we started talking. So.
Oh, see.
Yeah.
And then that makes sense why you sold the black one and got the blue one too.
I had to be like Wilson.
Right?
I'm a bad influence.
We're all bad influences. Like,
Yeah.
I talked about that on Bruce's live, yesterday with him. You know, all of us inevitably are in the presence of people that are asking, or for some reason they think that any one of us are going to help them off the ledge, so to speak. Like, Kevin, when he was picking up that Black Bay 58, you got two guys, one on each side of you, Craig and I, on either side of Kevin, and he's looking for one of us to talk some sort of sense in there or reasoning. Yeah. And we're both like, dude, that watch is perfect for you. Like, you can't afford not to buy it. Just pick it up.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to push them right off the ledge. Every one of us is going to push each other off the ledge when it comes to buying a new watch.
Yeah, you guys are a bunch of enablers, as Craig says, and these guys, they will make you do the last shot, even if it's like 155 at the bar. So beware. You will buy a watch, most likely buy a watch if you're hanging out with this group.
Yeah. It's just part of the gig. All right, so we got the wristwatch checks out of the way.
Just ask Kevin Wrong Time Watch who's in the chat about us being enablers.
He just commented. He said he bought it. So obviously. Well, he did. And to give him credit, he did walk away. Yeah, but he came back. So I feel like Craig and I, we did our job, because he left and he went to go convince his wife that it was a good idea. So we definitely planted that seed. If we wouldn't have done that, he would have just left. Oh, yeah. And Terry's in the chat. She said Black Bay 58's best watch. It actually converted her too. For the smaller wrist size, for sure, the Black Bay 58 is actually a no-brainer in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I guess I should probably reveal. I said I was going to. So, if anybody's been following the channel or knows me or whatever like that, they know I sold a bunch of watches. Well, not a bunch, but I sold a bunch of watches that I didn't really want to sell, but it was to do one thing. And I have to, and I'll go into a big long story with it another time. So we're just going to broad stroke it right now. So here's what happened. My buddy Detroit Spartan, my fairly new contact, and we became buddies really quick. Got me in contact with Lucido and his preferred salesperson over there, Seba, and we went down there Saturday, and I picked up a new no date sub. So there it is, guys.
Congratulations, brother.
I actually did it. I think awesome. A lot of people that I talk to on a regular basis already know this, but the channel doesn't know this, and I'm blown away that it was able to happen that quick. Like, I'm still just kind of in, it's a whirl. Like, so it doesn't even, I can't comprehend it. So a lot of like all the stars aligned or something. That's the only thing that I can explain. Like everything just aligned. I sold all the watches to get the cash, and then I had my buddy Detroit Spartan reach out to his contacts, and it happened like that.
Basically.
So and right, you never hear that story. Like, and so I feel kind of weird about it because like I'm just like most people when it comes to purchasing a Rolex or something where you have to earn it. Like you have to just go, I'm not willing to wait or try to do what it takes to get it from the AD, and you just go gray market and you pay the premium, which I didn't really want to do that. Most people that know me know that I like to buy brand new from the authorized dealer, regardless of the brand. That is my absolute preference overall. So, all right. So yeah, cat's out of the bag on that. And
Congratulations, Rob.
Yeah, congrats.
Cheers,
that
my
thing's
friend.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Cheers,
And
brother.
to celebrate that too, because I have to say, hands down, the best experience I've ever had going into an AD was Lucido's. And they even gave me, they didn't give me this. I bought this, but I'd never tried Johnny Walker Black Label. But Seba was like, she said, would you like some whiskey? And I'm like, yeah, I definitely would like some whiskey. So she poured me a little glass of whiskey, and that definitely helped me settle down a little bit before I threw down, almost $9,000 in cash. So every time I now drink Johnny Walker, it'll stimulate the memory of being with these four guys: Craig, Detroit Spartan, Wilson. We're all there. We all went down to Lucido's, and we all experienced it together. It was awesome. So thank you guys. I appreciate it for being there.
No problem. It was awesome
Cheers to you, my
to
friend.
share that experience with you, Rob. Thanks for having us with you.
We're gonna go back. We're going.
Absolutely.
But you know what else that Johnny Walker caused? Because it caused another sale too, didn't it? It wasn't just it wasn't just the Rolex. It was a little scraggler.
Oh, well, and then there was another one even after you left Detroit Spartan's house later that night too. So
I wasn't there to chaperone that one.
No, I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened there, but anyway, we should probably get down to talking some other stuff too. So, all right, I'm gonna lose my train of thought. What are we gonna talk about here? All right, so I before we started the live, I presented some topics that I wanted to talk to these guys about, and in the chat. So it's something totally different than what I typically do. Right? We're gonna talk, a topic instead of just a watch video or like showing watches. So I've been super interested in watching the Timepiece Gentleman's YouTube channel and Roman Sharf's channel. And I know there's a bunch of other ones that are kind of similar to that, but they're crazy fun to watch. They're super entertaining. And I think a lot of other people are actually watching those too. And do you guys watch those too? Craig, Detroit Spartan, and Wilson?
Yeah.
I've seen them all. Yeah, I'm a fan of Roman Sharf. Man,
Yeah,
he's a true businessman. So
yeah,
I watched my first Roman Sharf video yesterday, actually. So,
okay, what'd you think?
I could see how you could get hooked on that.
Yeah, because they're long too.
Yeah. My wife watches the Timepiece Gentleman, so
yeah,
I think between the two of them we're covered.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, but that watching those shows really kind of made me think more about what is going on with the watch market right now. And then even when we talked to Tom over at Tappers when we left Lucido's, we went over to Tappers. And I'm sure Lucido's would verify this. Pretty much all watch sales, everybody in the industry is having they've had the best quarter that they've had in like a decade or so. So what is going on with the watch market right now? Craig, do you have any input on like how is it so stimulated that, which means more people are buying, and then people are shifting upscale and entering in and all that stuff?
Well, my thoughts on it are the pandemic, yes, and it's affected a lot of people horribly. But the people that have kept their jobs do have, it seems, more some disposable income because we're not traveling anywhere. We're not, whether that's by car or by plane. So we have a little bit of extra income, money that's available for discretionary spending. And it's not just in watches. If you look at the fitness industry too, you try to find a piece of fitness equipment that you can buy that's not sold out. Bicycles. I've got friends that are into, mountain biking and things like that. All of the industries are just, it's slim pickings. And I'm sure some of that has to do with the supply, that it's just not there because companies are shut down. But I think a lot of it is just that people have some extra money that they like nice things, and it's a way for them to feel better in this, strange time we live in.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely something to that. What do you think, Detroit Spartan, on the topic?
I think Craig's spot on. I think people have more disposable income. They're stuck at home. I mean, watches are an easy thing to shop online, collect. You don't need a lot of space to collect a lot of watches. And it's just the hobby's just growing in general. And I think it's phenomenal. And I think this time period will help it continue to grow as well. Because once you get hooked, you just want more and more and more and more. And I think that's why we all eventually end up with higher end watches, because you just keep chasing that the next best thing. And I think that's what everyone that's part of the hobby is doing.
For sure. Yes. Wilson, I would like your input on what the hell is going on.
Well, yeah, my rookie input. Well, I agree with everything that you guys just said. I mean, I don't think I can add more to it. I know for me, being relatively new, getting back into this, and appreciating watches for different reasons than I used to before. There was nothing to do. So, I mean, for me, I was working the whole time. I never stayed home or anything, but it's just all of a sudden come home. Well, okay, I'm interested in this, interested in that, start watching YouTube videos, start researching, start getting into this and that. And then all that extra time helped me gain all this extra knowledge. And then next thing you know, I'm off to the races buying watches, and, being a part of the Random Rod Discord group is, it helps push you in that direction too. So,
well,
I think
you would definitely have a good input, Wilson, and I'd like you to expand on this, because you did say you are fairly new into this, and you came into it, and I think you're one of the people that actually came into it because of what's going on, right? So, and then it grew probably more so because you entered into a community as well. So now you're actually you're collecting watches, you're playing with watches and stuff, but you're also part of a group or something. There's more to it than that. It's now you have, like, you're socializing, even though you're not out socializing.
Yeah. Well, I think, like I told you over the weekend, was I've always had watches, had a couple here and there, and I just, maybe a year ago or whatever it was, I said, I just need one good everyday watch. And so I said, let me YouTube, search YouTube for the watch I was looking for. And I was never really on YouTube. And then Bruce Williams' channel popped up. And that led to this and that, whatever. And then your channel popped up, and that. So the one watch, it has turned into, I'm trying to think how many I've gotten since then. Maybe I have 10 now.
So, that's not bad at all, man.
So, but they're talking about Seikos and G-Shocks and things like that too. But it's just, I think that I would have been doing this, but having the to be a part of the community, for me, the reason why I ended up getting so immersed in all this was, and some of the guys who chat with me know this, is I always say is I'm just trying to gain knowledge. I'm trying to learn. So by me interacting with you guys and all these guys in the Discord and the live chats, it's me learning more and more and more because I'm very interested in it. And to me, if you can talk to somebody else about their experiences, it helps you along with yours. But yeah, being a part of the community, it really it's like affirmation. It's you're not the only like crazy person out there that's drooling over these watches and like we say, going down the rabbit hole, or when I text Craig on the side and say, "Man, please talk me off the ledge. I want to get this one. I want to get that one." But that just, I think, makes it more fun. But I think that even if we weren't a part of this community, I think we'd still be doing what we're doing. We would think we were the only ones who were nuts about it. So
yeah, for sure.
But like Steve said,
so
I think there's so many new channels now. There's so many there's new ones popping up all the time, and that just
some
helps
amazing channels too, like amazing content.
Yeah.
Not just the like commentary and stuff like that. The live shows are good and the commentary is good and everything like that. But like if you want to look at watches, there's some people that are turning out some really good content. Like good videography and stuff.
Yeah, and that's when I was first just trying to research a watch, it was a Navitimer at the time, which I never ended up buying, but because one thing led to another, and when I was looking at these things, I didn't realize that this market was like this. It was before the pandemic hit, and then I'm hearing and watching all these things, and then little by little, I started to realize that the madness, but even when I first started buying my first couple watches, I think the first one I bought was a Mudmaster, a G-Shock, and steadily got a Seiko here from Mimo and beyond. I still didn't grasp that it was a crazy market. Now I know, obviously,
Right.
but even 6 months ago when I got my Pelagos and all that, I didn't realize what was going on.
All right, so let's move on to the topic, and I want to talk about, this is a big one. I get asked this all the time, and even if I'm not asked this question, I see it talked about heavily, and there's really just two camps on this. Whatever watch, I don't even care what the price level is, but basically brand new AD purchasing versus gray market. I more so focused on that, not used, but just we're looking at brand new watches, AD purchasing. I actually just had a huge message or a question from somebody about, is the AD experience actually worth the premium over just getting the watch gray market and just having it sent to you and moving on? Maybe you don't have the full kit or whatever. Like, is it really worth that extra money? I definitely have some strong feelings on that, but I'm curious to know what Craig feels first.
I agree with you. I've bought some things gray. Started out, I've only been at this seriously about 2.5 years now. And when I first started, it was, maybe Joe Mashop and, Mark from Long Island. So the total purchase amounts were lower. And I think up to maybe about 350, 300 or so. I think that's okay. But I had a bad experience with a tag, actually, about a Tag Heuer gray market, and it did have a warranty. Luckily, I got the card; they got it from somebody else, but the experience, I had problems with the watch, and it just left a bad taste in my mouth. And so ever since, I've gone, new from the AD. And I just personally, I think that's the way to go. If you have a problem with something, you can take it back to that particular AD, whether that AD is in your area, which is always, I think, the first choice, because then, it's that one-on-one interaction. The second best is online, whether that's Mimo or whether that's Richard from Saltzman's or wherever. But those guys can fight for you too if something goes sideways with the watch. I'll gladly pay the extra amount to have that comfort and to have that assurance that if something does go wrong with a watch, I have the AD on my side, which you don't get gray. I mean, yeah, they'll take it back, and your warranty is through that gray dealer, but it's just not the same.
So, and you've purchased from both. You've done both many times.
I've done both.
So Detroit Spartan, I honestly, we haven't really talked too much about your purchase history, but have you done gray market as well? I mean, can you speak on both?
Yeah, so I started, way back when high school, wearing Fossils and G-Shocks and whatnot. But when I really got into this game, or addiction, whatever you want to call it, my first real purchase, I'm looking at all my watches right now, was a Speedy Tuesday Speedmaster limited edition. And I didn't get in on the release date. They sold directly from Omega's website, so I bought it from Crown and Caliber, and I think Crown and Caliber is a great company, but it just, the transaction was so cold. I mean, I asked for like 250 or 500 off, and they were just so blunt and cold about it. It really turned me off, and then I just got thinking. Everyone was saying, it's so impossible to get the Rolex sports models that everyone wants. And I was just thinking in my head, well, they're out there, so it can't be that hard. So I started calling around to all the ADs in the area, and some laughed at me, and some said, we can't get you exactly what you want right now, but come in and start a relationship with us. So the first watch I bought from the ADs was a 39 Explorer 1. And they made it, Lucido in Birmingham, Michigan, made it feel like I bought like a John Mayer Daytona or a Platinum Daytona. They made me feel so special, and it was just such an awesome experience that's really the only way I want to buy watches moving forward. And that's led to a lot of, higher end pieces and whatnot. I don't want to go through all of it right now, but I've been able to basically get what I want through them just through building that relationship. So it's possible. It's a great experience, and I would strongly recommend that anyone starts building a relationship with their local AD.
Yeah, 100%. And I felt that same love, obviously, when you took me there. But, some of that love was coming, because of you, obviously. But, yeah, and I've seen it even in the comments, and I've talked to other people about that too. So it's going to depend on potentially the AD and you if you connect. Just think about it. Like, you're not friends with everybody, right? So what makes you think that the experience is going to be any different when you walk into a boutique or an authorized dealer? The same scenario presents itself. Everybody has different, demeanors and like bad days, good days, and some of that weighs into it. Don't give up on your first try. Like, you have diversity. You need to go check other ones. Like you said, you called around to a few and you got a good buy from Lucido's, and you went there and it was verified. So
totally.
Wilson, what are your thoughts on AD versus gray market with your buying experiences?
Well, I've only really ever purchased from an AD in my short time. So the several watches that I've bought have been from an AD. My only boutique experience was just buying some rubber straps for Omega Seamaster. So that's it on that. But I don't know if you can call it gray market, but the only other experience outside of the AD is the Random Rob Discord, where I bought a couple of watches. So that's my gray market experience.
No,
and
that's
it's been
used.
a pretty good one.
We'll talk about used. We're going to talk about used because
Okay.
a lot of people are very curious about that too. But
Yeah.
I think you could shed some light on, because you kind of did the same thing that Detroit Spartan did, but you did it at a different AD, and you have a solid contact over there. I'd like to hear a little bit about that, because I don't know the history with you and Tom over there.
It was just kind of by chance. I I happened to be, at that location. It's actually in a local mall, and the kids were shopping, and I was like, okay, well, Dad's gonna go into the toy store over here and take a look. And I had my eye on a couple of watches, a Grand Seiko and a Pelagos, whatever. So I walked in and I started talking to a person who ended up being Tom, who you guys have met.
Yeah.
And we just struck up a conversation, and it was kind of funny because I ended up being there for probably over an hour. He didn't have either one of the watches there, but we were laughing about it because it was almost like when you start speaking in tongues. I was like, I haven't been able to talk to anybody in person about watches or anything. So I was like, we just had this long conversation, and we just we hit it off. I think he knew, where I was coming from, that I was really interested in watches. I, explained to him, my thoughts and my history with it. And he's one of the sales guys he's into watches himself. So we just hit it off. And, I'm a big believer in networking. I think networking is a great way to get a lot of things done, for yourself and for other people. So I ended up buying that Pelagos from him probably within a couple of days after that. And then a few weeks later, I ended up getting another watch. Nice. And it just went from there. And really, since the minute I've walked in there, the guy's treated me like I've been his customer since that store's been open, and I've really only known him for about 6 months, but I consider him like a friend, and they've really, really taken care of me. I mean, it's not Detroit Spartan level, but yeah, I mean, you guys have met Tom and you've seen it, so it's been good for me personally, because I really feel like when I'm going in there and doing business with him, and that I'm buying from a good guy who's trying to take care of me. So
nice for sure. Yeah, Tom is awesome, and again, he's just, I don't know if the guy isn't ever like just go and like willing to spend time with you and everything like that. I've heard stories of getting passed on or something like that, not willing to spend the time with you and everything. So that actually is very important. Like another buddy of ours, Clayton from the Watchdog podcast, he picked up a new watch too, and he picked it up from I don't know what you call it. It's a watch store, but they're not an AD for the brand that he picked up. But he was there like 3.5 hours, and they just hung out and were talking watches before they even made a deal. So I remember back in the days, I used to do that. I used to hang out at a really cool laid back gun store, and it was like that too there. It was like a gentleman's club almost. Like, I mean, obviously women were allowed too, but you know what I'm saying? The vibe that you get when you go there is like, you can just hang out. So
yeah, I've been in there so many times where it was just, we just were talking. I mean, I wasn't going to buy a watch. And he knew I wasn't going to buy a watch, and there were probably other people that he could have been helping, but he sat there and talked to me, and it's to the point where if they have new releases or if they have watches coming in, that he'll call me, message me, and say, hey, come on and take a look, even if he knows I'm probably not going to buy it. So it's nice to get a first look, first sniff, and things like that. I mean, it's makes you feel good when they're like, hey, this just came in, come on and take a look,
Yeah.
So.
Honestly, I think it might be more of a younger, hungrier salesperson tactic, where they're willing to invest time into people where maybe the people that are a little more cynical, they've been doing it longer, and they can just read people, and they're just like, I want to make the sale, this person isn't buying, and they just move on, sort of thing. So I think that's what we see. Like, that's what all of us probably like when we watch like the Timepiece Gentleman and Roman Sharf, and so they not every conversation, not every contact is gonna net a sale today, but they're building all these contacts and relationships, and they will build, like, it'll happen, naturally. So and that's what's I think that's the common thing that a lot of us enjoy. So it's part of the relationship building, whether it's the watch community or the salespersons or whatever, or salespeople or whatever. So,
And building that relationship doesn't just help you, everybody wants to relate it to Rolex. It doesn't just help you with Rolex. It helps you with any brand that particular AD carries. You're
yes,
building that relationship. Like Wilson said, Tom calls him if he has something to come in. Most of the time, it's not Rolex,
Right.
It's
you
not.
know?
He's never called me for that, so,
Right,
except one time.
right. So, it's not just benefiting you from a Rolex standpoint, it's other brands too that you necessarily wouldn't see because it would come in, somebody would come and pick it up and you'd never see it. But he called you because, hey, we got this. The customer's not coming in right away, come check it out. And that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. Yep.
All right, let's switch over. Let's talk about used watches, both selling and buying. I think most of us have done a little bit of it. Some more than others, obviously, but like how, when, and where. Like how do like I'm often asked that as well. Like there's so many people that are just frustrated whether they haven't sold. Um, I feel like most people have a harder time dealing with the selling side of things than they do the buying. Like they know where to buy the stuff, but they have a hard time selling it. And a lot of people are just sick of eBay. Like, where do you do it? How do you do it? Craig, what do you think?
Well, it becomes a
We're
little
we're all
easier.
we're all going to be biased. Yeah, we're all going to be biased
Yeah,
towards one spot. But
right. It's obviously if you're in a Discord group, that obviously becomes the easiest and the most convenient. And when you're around people, obviously, you've got a good market there. But sometimes either that particular market is saturated, based on the watch, or maybe it's the cost or something else. So that's when it gets a little bit more tricky. Um, I've done some selling on Facebook. That's kind of a hit or miss kind of a thing. Sometimes things can go, sometimes it doesn't. Typically, it
like
leads.
local, or you'll ship.
I'll ship. Typically, everything that the handful of watches that I've sold on Facebook, I've all had to ship. For whatever reason, it's never been local for me. I don't know why. I think just one time, and that was a Shinola watch. But everything else has been out of state, and it can make it more difficult. It's not like somebody can just pop over and see it. How do they know that they can trust you or that you can trust them as a buyer and not get scammed? That's becoming more of an issue. I totally get it. Watching YouTube videos, people talk about, doing like local forums and stuff. I've never done that. Luckily, everything that I've sold, I've been able to sell through Discord or through Facebook. So or to a buddy that hey, I like that watch. Sell it to me? Yeah, sure, cool. But so I've been fortunate in that regard. So I haven't had to branch out other than that. But a lot of people aren't on Facebook either.
Yeah,
I've stopped using Facebook. So
I just deactivated mine today.
yeah, luckily my watch intake is decreased dramatically. Um, but we'll we'll see. We'll see how it goes in the future.
For sure.
I have to make better choices for me. Keep them longer or
Because
um,
it is frustrating selling.
yeah, it really makes you think when you're buying it. Is this going to be something that I'm going to get rid of? I remember, talking with other folks in our Discord, and one of them, and we all know who we're talking about here, was into German watches, and kind of esoteric German watches, and that's great when you're a watch geek and you like that kind of thing, but it's just harder to get rid of those watches at the same time too. So, hopefully you do like them and you do keep them, because if not, you really have to drop the price so far to make it attractive for somebody to take that chance that it's just you take a bath.
Yes. Detroit Spartan, buying and selling you.
I think that's what everyone's looking for. I mean, there's two things. You're looking to not get scammed, and you're looking to not pay a bunch of fees. So the key is to find, if we could somehow, I mean, Discord kind of does it. If we could put together a group of real watch collectors, true fans of the hobby that we could all trust and buy and sell and trade to. That's kind of what I'm running into at the moment. I'm starting to, I just really started out. I've always been a watch guy, but I've really started collecting hardcore in the last 2 years. And I'm just looking at my desk and it's getting really full, and I'm not really wearing too many of them. So now I'm starting to think about selling them. And I put a couple in your Discord today, and I don't even know what to price them at. I look at what what Roman's putting them up for, or Watchbox, and I go a couple thousand less, but I'm not even really worried about that. I'm more worried about not getting scammed and not paying a ton of fees. And that's the issue. I wish there was a better way. I wish we didn't have to worry about that kind of thing, but we do. And it's really the worst part of the hobby, in my opinion. Buying is wonderful. I love buying, but selling is, it's something that I kind of procrastinate. I don't look forward to doing it. I don't necessarily really need to do it. I would rather some of these watches be on wrist of people that wore them and truly appreciated them.
And it gives you the opportunity to check out some new stuff.
Exactly.
It doesn't necessarily free up money. Obviously it frees up money, but it frees up like your time, your wrist time, your space, all that stuff.
Totally.
So do you have both the watches that you listed today right there?
Yeah, I got most everything right here, but I can show you.
Let's see them. So
this is a Speedmaster, the first Speedy Tuesday release, 2017. The lume on it is incredible. I mean, every sub dial has lume within it. Even like the Omega sign on there, everything is lumed. It's just beautiful. And manual wind, when you wind it, it's just got a phenomenal feel to it.
And how much is that one? How much are you selling that one for?
I decided to go 12,500. Crown and Caliber had it listed for 14,300, and somewhere else had it for 14.5. And then the other one was a no date sub, the discontinued model, Fat Boy 114060. Absolutely in love with this watch. It's kind of what got me into Rolex. But recently I got offered this watch, right. and so I don't really wear that no date anymore. And
show the no date again and tell us how much that one's listed for.
And I also listed this for 12,500.
12.5 for a very good condition no date sub maxi case. Yeah, 2019. You bought it 2019.
2019 full kit. I maybe have worn it 10 times. Because when I go to my watch box, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It's what I wear today: Panda Daytona, Pepsi, Cermet, Rose Gold Day-Day, Gray Side of the Moon. I mean, there's just so many that I'd rather them be on someone's wrist that's going to wear them on a regular basis and appreciate them.
And you just picked up the new, I don't even know what is the model number on the new Tudor Black Bay 18 karat?
I don't even know, but I can show it again.
I forget what the model number is.
Do you know, Wilson?
He probably does.
Of that, what's on your wrist, the full model number?
Yeah.
No, it's the 18 karat Black Bay Tudor.
Okay. Well, that's what we're going to call it. Because doesn't the silver one have it's just like a 997 or something?
925, I think they're calling. Yeah, which is, yeah. And that, I don't know. I really don't know. I just know it's the gold Tudor, so it's the only one.
18K BB58.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it frees you up to do stuff like that when something new. Because obviously
Yeah.
we're all watch crazy. So when a new shiny watch comes out, like when you were picking up that 18K BB58, I was pawning over. We had access to look at the new ceramic Black Bay 41.
Yeah.
It's new and shiny. Well, it's kind of dull, but it does have some shine to it. But like, we want to see those new ones. Well, that means sometimes the old ones got to go.
Yeah, and getting it on your wrist makes you. I mean, it really tells you or if you're going to fall in love with it or not. You can't just decide like I don't know long term how this how a solid gold tool watch is going to fit in my collection, but right now I love it. So you just gotta get it on your wrist to see if, especially a watch like you mentioned, kind of a blacked out watch like that, you really got to see if it gels with you, and the only way to do that is make room for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Detroit Spartan, the green on that Tudor helps too, right?
Yeah, well, I love you. Anyone's got green watches, I'll buy them.
You know what? Tudor is killing it right now.
Yeah, they are.
They're definitely they're setting their place in the market right now for sure. So
Yeah, that ceramic is Meta certified too.
yeah, so that just happened. Now Tudor's going to start doing that too. Wilson, you don't even really sell right now, do you? Have you sold much?
No, you know what? My philosophy now, again, still being a rookie, is I don't want to buy anything that I'm gonna end up selling. So what I do now, regardless of the type of watch or the brand, I mean, even if it was when I was looking at Seikos, I just basically exhaust my research on it. You know, look at it from as much as I can, try to see it in person, learn as much as I can about it, and then if I'm still paying attention to it after a certain amount of time, then I go for the watch. Um, Again, it's easier said now that because I don't have a huge watch collection like some of you guys, but I really don't want to deal with the hassle of selling. I mean, I might get to it at one point, if things get too far gone. But I'd rather just take a watch that I like, buy it, enjoy it for as long as I can, and pass it on to somebody else, kids, grandkids, or something. But that's what I'm saying right now. But that doesn't mean that in a few months I might call Rob or Craig and be like, "Hey, man, can you guys help me sell this thing?" So,
Right.
Nothing's set in stone, but that's my philosophy when I'm buying something right now. Is that I want to buy something to not ever really have to sell it. So.
Right, and even doing that buying technique is perfect, and it works great, and it'll prolong you selling. But at some point, you will be picking up more and more over a greater span of time. But you will get to the point where you're like, something's got to go.
Yeah, I'm dreading that. I mean, I'm hoping that. Then there's some watches now that I don't really wear that much, but it's like, should I deal with selling it here or there? I mean, they're just a few $100 watches. It's not a big deal, but then I look at it, I'm like, no, I like it. I'll wear it, wear it today or whatever. And then it's like, you reconnect with it for a little bit, and it's not hurting anybody sitting in the watch box. So let it just stay there.
Yeah. It is definitely easier, and I still sell the cheaper ones too. Like I get stressed out just having to, like, I have to sell some of these G-Shocks. I got they're behind me over there or whatever. There's just like literally just like a pile of them. I don't even put them back on their stands and stuff. So, hey, good night, Terry. I am reading some of the comments, guys. I know I'm not commenting on them all, but I am reading some of them. So, yeah. So we covered a lot of that stuff. I think we're good there. There's one other really big thing I want to talk about, because this is something that I've always been a big fan of doing. And I know a lot of people really focus on this, and some people just don't want to pay the premium because it's almost always comes with a premium. But buying watches that are mostly like limited edition or special edition or maybe just hard to find. But sometimes that means it's like a more recent discontinued model, whatever the brand is. But I'm just a huge fan of doing that, and I think it's just because you own something that is a little more rare, so not so common. Craig, what do you? Obviously, you're wearing the Tokyo Seamaster now, so
Yeah, that one I think was maybe a little lucky. I truly think that they're probably going to offer this colorway one, outside of the Tokyo edition. But I understand why people do that, and if that's how you want to collect, that's great. I unfortunately don't do that, and maybe that means that things depreciate more in my collection. But for me, it's more about wearing the watch, and if I can't, if I feel that I'm not going to wear it, it kind of deters me from the watch, even if it is collectible. If that makes any sense. I mean, maybe I'm just not to the point yet where, maybe at some point, maybe I never will, who knows, use watches as a investment strategy. And I know that's a whole new can of worms, and I don't want to get into it, but with some brands you can buy, and that that watch probably isn't ever going to depreciate. But limited editions, for me, I think I have to be into the watch and wear it some, in order for me to really be interested. So I haven't done that yet. Maybe other than this one. I think I'm just getting to that point in my collecting journey. So, but I really have to be interested in wearing the watch. That's where I am with my collection right now. If I don't wear it, it's gone.
right. So it's just what you like, period. And I'm trying to think, both you and Heidi's collection, I don't think there's any like true limited editions. I don't think.
I gave her my Zin 104 limited edition, that blue dial.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, and maybe this Tokyo, there's nothing's limited or special edition.
Okay. So Detroit Spartan, I already know your thoughts on this, but I want everybody else to hear it.
Oh, I think you should buy like Craig. You should buy what you love, and that's kind of how I started off. When I bought that limited edition Speedmaster, I didn't buy it because it was limited. I bought it because it was a reverse Panda and it had killer loom. I mean, I just loved the way it looked, especially on the NATO strap. And then when I got it, I actually liked it better on the leather strap. But that's not the point. I think it's just a lot easier to part with your discretionary income if you know it's going to retain or hold its value. And a lot of time limited watches do. And in many ways, I think of the steel sports model Rolexes as limited, even though they're not.
Limited access for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But there is not I've been offered, I don't want to go through them all, but a lot of Rolexes, and I don't buy every one that I'm offered. I only buy the ones I love. And so you can still buy what you love and buy watches that retain their value. And I think that's it's just smart. I just think it's the way you should do it, unless you're buying G-Shocks and things like that. Then I think you shouldn't worry about that. Just buy what you love. I have G-Shocks. I have lower end Shinolas. I have limited edition Shinolas. I have all kinds of different watches. But if you're going to invest a lot of money, I do think you should think of the financial side of things.
Yeah, unless it's just a complete keeper, I guess. Then I guess it kind of doesn't matter. So
if it's like a watch for a wedding or a kid's graduation or something like that, I wouldn't worry about that whatsoever. But if it's if it's a watch that you're on the fence with, it's probably one of the reasons I got into Rolex. It just I ended up at first I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna like those steel sports model. Why does that one look like a Pepsi can, or why did it didn't appeal to me at first, but then once I saw them in person, I was like, those watches are beautiful, and they're robust and they hold up. You can wear them swimming.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about them. They're just killer movements. They last forever. And the fact that they retain their value didn't hurt.
Well, there's a reason too why. I mean, there are hype watches, but part of the reason is everybody wants them.
Exactly.
Because they're great watches, and when you do see them in person, it's then you realize that as well. It's not just because a bunch of people put an Instagram picture up too. So
I know that bothers us when we hear, people only want the Panda Daytona or the Pepsi or the Cermet because it's a hype piece. Well, it's a hype piece because if you put it on your wrist, it fits your wrist phenomenal. It looks great, and it's a hell of a watch. That's why it's a hype piece.
Yep. Well, you can talk shit if you can back it up, and they back it up.
For sure.
So, Wilson, your thoughts? I don't think you have a bunch of limited edition either, or anything like that. So
No, I don't. I don't think I have any limited edition. If I do, it's news to me. But I think that's a good thing. I just to echo what some of the guys have been saying in the chat, like AZ Clayton and Blue Shirt, and it's just buy what you like and want to wear. I don't think I would ever buy a watch solely because it was a limited edition. I mean, I don't even know what's limited and not limited because sometimes they come out with limited editions that are like thousands of pieces. So for me, if I like a watch and it happens to be a limited edition, so be it. Getting back to when I first started this and I found what Chrono 24 was, and I started putting this list together of all these watches that I was going to own. I was going to get this and this and this and this and this. And looking back, I laugh now. It was like $400,000 or $500,000 worth of watches, right? And the value, not the retail, but whatever, And it's, to me, on certain brands that I'm looking at, I'm going to assume quality, right? I'm assuming it's a good watch. I'm assuming it's a good movement. And then I just go with the aesthetic. Do I like the way the watch looks? Do I like the way it fits on my wrist? Does it feel right? And that's how I look at things. So to me, it doesn't even matter so much, the brand or I mean, I like the hype brands and the hype pieces, but I like the obscure stuff too. But yeah, limited edition doesn't really mean anything to me unless it's a random Rob Discord watch, limited edition. Then I'm on it for that reason, whatever it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Oh, right, because I do have a couple of things coming out. You're right. I'm trying
to nudge you in that direction.
It's like kind of back burner stuff. I got so many other things going on. So those will happen. Those will eventually happen. So
yeah.
All right. Well, we're coming up on an hour. I do want to close out with one last thing, and I think I'll probably finish. So I'm going to start with Craig, but like simple questions. This isn't going to be long. So, what is the last watch you purchased? Like the most recent watch you purchased, and what do you think is next, Craig?
The last watch I purchased is this semester, the Tokyo 2020. And my next one, I'm saving up. I'm going to the dark side. Polar Explorer 2.
Yes.
That's not dark side. That's a white dial. Don't worry.
That's a white dial. So a real quick story on that. So when we went to Lucida's and we're talking to Seba, and Craig actually kind of mentioned it to her, she instantly ran in the back and brought out, you probably don't have it right there, but brought out this Rolex book or something. I don't have that one. She gave me a different one, which is super cool, but the one she brought out has the Polar Explorer on the cover. It's a really nice book catalog.
Yeah,
so that was really cool of them to do that.
It was probably about that thick. And it had it on the cover, and it was really cool. It just goes to show the level that those folks go to when they're delivering a watch. It's I've had a few AD experiences, buying new from an AD, and there is something to be said about it. I don't need it on every purchase, but getting pampered too, even though I wasn't the one buying the watch, they really do listen, and they really do pay attention and try to cater to you when you're in there, even if it wasn't for me. And it was really nice that she did that.
Yeah, there it is.
I took a picture of it. Yeah.
So freaking cool.
Don't judge a book by its cover, except for that one.
Yeah. All right, we'll try to blast through this. Detroit Spartan, what was the last watch you bought, and what is the next watch you think you're going to buy?
Well, you guys were with me when I bought this.
Yeah.
So the last watch, thanks to Wilson, I bought was the 18 karat gold Tudor Black Bay 58. And the next watch, it's hard to say. It's going to depend on what Lucido calls me with, but I'm hoping it's going to be the solid yellow gold green dial John Mayer Daytona.
Damn.
Oh, that's sick. That is so sick.
Notice he said green dial, green. There's a theme there.
Yeah, definitely a theme. If I'm available and you can wait instead of just blasting over there and you give me a heads up, I will try to drop everything and blast down. It's going to take me like 3.5 hours if I speed a little bit. And I would love to try to be there when you go. If it happens.
Totally. It will happen. I just don't know when, but I will tell you, when I bought my rose gold olive dial day date, it is a special experience. It is something you'd want to be there for. It's fun.
That is awesome. I'm excited.
Detroit Spartan, I'll pick you up. Just call me. I'll be there in a minute.
we all got to roll in there together. It'd be so cool.
Yeah.
All right, Wilson. What is the last watch you bought, and what is the next watch you think you're going to buy?
The last watch I bought was the Rupier, the GMT.
Yes.
And oddly enough, that was the day before the meetup, the Random Rob Michigan meet.
Timing's
the day
everything.
of the meet, I was planning on I've been pretty much looking to buy an IWC, the Portugueser chronograph. So obviously I didn't, because I got sidetracked the day before. So potentially that might be the next watch. I do have another watch coming in that I'm going to keep hush hush for now, because I don't want to jinx anything. Although I'm not superstitious, but until something's in hand, right? So possibly that Portugueser, but most likely something else that I have a deposit on. So
nice. All right, so I'm gonna close it out, and I'm gonna say, I know everyone's thinking this was actually the last watch I bought. This was not the last watch I bought. On that day. So this is a recent purchase, although on that day I bought this one first, and then I bought another watch, and then for a nightcap I bought so my last watch was actually a limited edition, because I love limited edition, and I blame Detroit Spartan for this. Shinola, and I'm going to get it tomorrow. They ship crazy fast, and I'm gonna do an unboxing on it. And I know some people are gonna hate on it, but this thing is crazy cool, and I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it. So that was my last purchase. It is an actual limited edition Shinola. That one right there.
Yeah. So Rob's big day was supposed to be what's on his wrist, and then
yeah, I picked up
3 watches.
I picked up 3 really cool watches. One of which I will be wearing a lot. The other 2, one will be a collectible, and the other one will probably be sold at a heavy flipper tax. So, what am I going to buy next? I don't know. Whatever next shiny thing catches my eye, but I feel pretty satisfied right now. So I don't have a definitive next, that is for sure. And even if I did, I guarantee it's going to change in an hour. So that's about it, guys. I appreciate everybody coming in the chat, and I really appreciate Craig, Detroit Spartan, and Wilson for joining me on the live stream. I like this format, and hopefully I will do this more often. So live stream, Detroit Spartan, Wilson, stay on. Don't click off because we'll talk afterwards.
Okay. I was gonna say, Rob, thanks for inviting us on, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome to have you. Craig dipped out there, so bouncing back in, but he's
I don't know what happened.
Orientation. That's all right. Probably your Apple product or something. So I'm just kidding. You know, I'm an Apple boy.
Twist it.
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Take care, guys.